It's time to polish the aluminum. This is an aluminum fan shroud, not like the new ones that's chrome. And I'm going to use this product right here, Never Dull. It's a cotton that is got some sort of chemicals on it. It has a little bit of aroma to it, but no big deal. And as you're using it, as you'll see here, it's going to turn black. And when it starts turning black, you know you're getting that oxidation off. And you just need to take like a little piece. You don't want to take the whole thing out. I start off with a piece about this big. Just tear it off, and you'll see the, you know, it sort of gets a haze on it. The chemical is starting to work. Now, okay, it's starting to get black because it's starting to lift whatever's in there. And that's where you want to, that's when you're getting the shine. If it turns black, you want that. That's a good thing. Leave it on there and just keep rubbing the heck out of it. Rubbing, rubbing, rubbing. And then it'll dry and get kind of a haze on it. Then you want to use something like cotton. I first just wiped off the dust and dirt and use some Windex and a paper towel and just kind of wet it to get it off. This works great on wheels. See, it's turning black, and that stuff will get on it'll get on your hands. It's not toxic or nothing, but it's just annoying and to get that stuff on your skin. And you can jam it down in the corner. I've used a little piece of this to do a whole wheel. Now, of course, the better shape your stuff is in, the less effort. You know, if you wait too long, if you wait for it to really, really oxidize, you're going to have to work on it a little harder, a little longer. Maybe to do it a few times. Where's kind of a, and you can turn it, you can spread it apart, and you're not scratching anything. Let me really work on this corner here. This was all oily, and I think it leaves something on the aluminum. I think there's something left behind because it takes a nice shine. And it looks good. Of course, I'm holding the camera and trying to make a video of this, so this isn't perfect. You'll kind of know when it's done. It just sort of dries out, whatever that stuff is in. Then it'll start lifting that black stuff. Now, it seems to me that that black stuff is kind of abrasive, you know. If you're using like a buffer, a buffing pad and all that sort of stuff, you'll notice that you use a compound, a buffing compound, and it's just different degrees of fine abrasive. I guess that's what you call it, just a fine abrasive. Now, we've done quite a little bit here, and you can use it on chrome. Yeah, see, it's not leaving anything behind. But chrome, you just want to use like triple-aught stainless steel wool, not stainless, just triple-aught steel wool, and it'll take some of the rust, and the rust bleeds and then it might just be a speck, but it looks horrible, and the steel wool will take the rust away, and then with this stuff you can polish it. So yeah, this is pretty much done. Okay, I've got an old flannel bedspread that's very old, and I just cut a couple of squares off of that. So now we're just gonna wipe that stuff off. And then you need to give it some like dry time, let the air get to it, and then rub it. You want to turn your rag, and this one will load up. It'll get the junk on it. It's not like you can do the whole thing, but I should probably put you on the stand so I could really put some pressure on here. I don't know if you can really, if the camera's picking it up. You can turn it, then you can come back to it, and as long as you're using this flannel or something soft, cotton, a terry cloth, bath towel, you know, or a washcloth. I like to use washcloths for rags. You can buy them at Walmart for cheap, and they're nice little squares already cut. You get some white ones. The red rags that you can get at the automotive stores that the mechanics always used to have hanging out of their pockets, they're washed in something or got some kind of oil on them. They're good for wiping oil and grease off your hands and your tools and things like that, but it's cotton, but they wash it in something, or the dye, I don't know. They just don't seem to work as good. Coil used to be mounted up here where these two bolts are, and I moved it down there. I thought it just looked better, and the oil cooler used to be mounted in back here, not oil cooler, the vent box, your engine vent. When you get bigger engines and you start doing more RPM, and your engine ages, you're gonna get blow-by. That's just basic stuff. You're gonna get blow-by. Nothing you can do to prevent that. Guys wonder why they're, you know, I got all this crankcase pressure. Should I put vented valve covers? You know, my rear oil main leaks. I got my pushrod tubes leak. Well, you got a lot of air turbulence inside the engine, and yeah, that's coming out. See, it's looking better considering these things are really old. And yeah, see, just let it dry a little bit. I don't like the liquid chrome cleaners. They used to have some good stuff, but this stuff, to me, I've switched over. This is my go-to thing for chrome and aluminum. It'll really do a lot of chrome. If you got chrome wheels or something, just that little spot that I had in my hand will clean it up real good. And if you've got rust, just get that triple-aught steel wool. Steel wool? Is it steel wool? Yeah. And clean it with that first. That's starting to come around. Now I'm going to take I don't know if that's really showing up. I'm going to take a fresh rag and I'll hit it again. And man, it'll just give you a mirror finish, you know? Yeah, I gotta take care of my baby. She's been trailered up for a couple of years, and I got my battery permanently mounted now. down low where the old one was. Yeah. Sun's kind of hiding behind a cloud. I've never used a power buffer. I've had, you know, like a grinding wheels and held stuff up onto the buffer that way. But this works just as good. You just, you know, it's a toy that you love, so you don't mind touching it. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's starting to come back. I'm gonna have to work this front face, but the top, you know, the stuff that's easy to get to, that you can apply a lot of pressure, is always going to be easier. Okay, I'm back to the can. Tear off another piece. It's not really a sealed can too much. I mean, it's just a friction fit lid, but it's good to keep that lid on all the time. Here's a piece of chrome. Chrome don't get you home, but it sure looks good on the side of the road, you know. Yeah, that thing is got something going on with it, some stains. Here's this little mirror. Now it's definitely gotten faded, or it's been sandblasted. That's what it's been. Oxidation and sandblasting. But something like this, you can just get that thing to shine like it was brand new. I love all this cute little stuff. That aftermarket really does come to the rescue when it comes to showy stuff. On an old car like this with a crummy paint job and all these boogered wells, you just put nice wheels on it and throw some shiny stuff on it, and it just, like, you know, old beat stuff. That's normal wear. That means it's been used to me. That's why I like kind of the rat rod trend that seems to be going around, because it's just, you know, if you're going to use it, it's going to get jacked up. And normal use wear marks just tells me that, hey, it's used for what it was built for. It's not. Back in the 60s, they used to have car shows, and I don't know if you guys remember some of those fancy Ed Roth cars. They had engines in them that, you know, 2 V8s put together. I mean, he did some phenomenal artistic designs and builds that were just phenomenal. But other people started doing it, and they would pull the cars in. The cars looked great, but they didn't even run. It had an engine in there. Some of those engine blocks didn't even have pistons in them, you know, because they were just made for show, and they just, you know, chrome and polish and all that stuff. Let me see. Let me get my rag here and see if what happens here. Here's your typical chrome. I was thinking this floor is aluminum and it's all boogered up, but if you take a brass cup brush, you know what that is? You take a brass cup brush on a drill. Let me show you. I got one right here. Oh, here's my brushes. Where are they? I'm sure one of these would work too. But depending on the diameter, now this is metal, but you find one in brass, and you just put that in your drill, and you can do it by hand. Ying, 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 and it'll leave those scratches, and it looks like engine turned stuff. Imagine these fiber cut brushes would work as well. I know I got a brass one in there. Oh well, that's not what we're working on. Don't get sidetracked. That's why these darn videos get so boring and so long, because I have that ADD kicking in, and it just adds to the entertainment. I just do my own thing and share it with others. Things I've learned. It's been a constant struggle over the last 30 years. I've made so many mistakes. I've had very few trips that I went on, spent a week off-roading or in the sand dunes, and came home without a broken car. Usually that's what ends my trip, is something breaks and I don't have the parts or the tools to fix it out in the field. And you see these racers, you know, with the big semis full of tools and parts. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell. It's better. So it's coming back. This one's pretty far gone, but I think it looks better. I don't know if that's really showing up in the camera, but you need to stay on this. You can't just go do it once and expect it to last forever. Let's see how this is going. Oh man, yeah, you can see the original buff marks, and I'm gonna have to clean the lens on this camera. It's like your glasses, you know. But yeah, so you can see the difference between maybe this side, this tin, and this one, which we haven't done yet. A little duller, but yeah. I wish I had some nicer exhaust, but you know, for this kind of car, there's a little, probably no more fiberglass in there, but there is a baffle. These things don't seal. But at least it's a merged header, and it's kind of not too vulnerable, although this end does puff on the dirt, and if it's a dry, dusty day, that's just going to aggravate things. But you got open wheels, tires. I hope to get some use out of that this year, I'll tell you. So I better get some use out of it, or there's no sense having it, right? Head out and have some fun. But wait! There's more! I need a burrito. That's what I need.